Just like you thought, Lisandro Martinez is gonna come to you, but guess what happened?
Nobody wants that midget.
Yeah, but you wanted him. You wanted him.
Nobody wants him.
Yeah, Anthony. I think Anthony's going to fit in really well at Man United. He seems like an absolutely
Despicable human being. Yeah, everything that the guy did, it was just horrible.
What are you saying now, you motherfucker? Suck my dick, blood! Suck my dick, blood! Come on! Come on! Suck my dick, blood! Suck my dick, blood! Come on! Come on! Suck your mama's well, blood! Come on, Trent! Yes!
Besides Casemiro, Bruno and Eriksen don't really put in that work.
Eriksen don't put in the work. Wait, what do you mean? What?
You think? I just think our midfield is 10 times better than their midfield. When it comes to Odegaard, he's actually superior to Bruno Fernandes in football. Yes, Bruno Fernandes is a better goal scorer, but I hear you. Granted, Xhaka probably the best passing range out of all our midfielders.
Just a quick question for fans then. When do you think Arsenal will drop off?
Sunday.
There you go.
Thump him and they start declining. We'll thump him.
All right.
Yeah, but you wanted him. But you wanted him.
Welcome back to the Top 6 show. I hope everyone's doing very, very well indeed. Smash the like and the share button. Someone did comment and say, why do you only do this when Arsenal lose? Callum can attest. We've definitely done these, but it ain't just been Arsenal. But of course, it was one of the first kind of weirdly big clashes of the weekend, and I'd actually had time to put that together. Big up to everybody over at Never a Foul, predominantly their footage there, and of course AFTV, Troops, and everyone else. But it was an epic weekend of football. It truly was. And we're going to delve into that in more detail. We're going to look at Liverpool flopping and dropping more points again, the VAR controversy at Chelsea, and other games. We're going to take a look and a little chat about Haaland, because somebody on our panel seems to think Haaland is a little bit overrated. So we're going to get a little bit overrated. So we're definitely going to get into that. And of course, we're going to review Manchester United versus Arsenal. And the question is, were Arsenal humbled or robbed? That's the question we want to know from the audience today. Humbled or robbed by Manchester United? Cal, good to have you back on the show, my friend. Long time no see.
I know. Thanks for having me. You could have picked a better day, but I'm here now. So, yeah, thanks for having me back, man.
Never a problem at all, my old mate. And Canadian Cam's on the show. Rarity to have you on a panel show. Normally a phone in and something like that. So welcome.
You know, holidays, right? Gives me a chance to pop on. I got work.
Absolutely.
I'm really just here to cook a gal, so that's it.
David will be joining us very, very soon. Patrick's here, flying high in the league.
That's it. Only 2 teams still undefeated, and obviously Arsenal ain't one of them. So yeah, with that, on that note, and put my hat on, I'm ready for today's show, man. I can't wait.
There we go. And Egal's here with us. Egal, obviously, like you know, taking a little bit of smoke when things go wrong, but then you do give out a hell of a lot when it's going right your way. I remember streams so far this season where you were sitting there, arm on the back of the chair like this, just chilling. So yeah, it's one of them ones. So welcome back to the show, my friend. Welcome. We are going to move on to Arsenal Man United a bit later in the show. We're going to wait for the numbers to kind of build up. I wanted to start with Liverpool, though. Because how do I say this?
It's been a great show. Nice to see you guys, and we'll catch up. Yeah.
It's weird. Liverpool again. You know, the high line getting caught out, not scoring goals, just looking a little bit flaccid, a little bit limp, a little bit like you need Viagra FC right now. You're not quite there. What's going wrong with your club, Cal?
Oh, Terry, I don't. Honestly, there's a lot I could say. Depends how long you want me to speak for, because there's a lot going wrong at the moment. I think predominantly arrogance and stubbornness in the transfer market from the manager, from the owners. I think our coaching, our standards of coaching and the tactics we employ, the structure in the formation, the rigidness is not helping us at all. Obviously, we've lost Mane, brought in Nunez, but Nunez hasn't played for 3 games, so we can't sit here and blame it on Nunez. Firmino stepped up in those 3 games, to be fair to him. Salah's new position and how he's playing isn't working at all. Diaz, still a little bit hit and miss here and there, but the midfield is a real problem. Obviously, Trent and Virgil just being nonchalant when they shouldn't be, especially at Manchester United game. But a lot falls at the feet of Klopp at the moment. And before anyone gets crazy, I'm not Klopp out. For me to be Klopp out, it would take a lot. He'd probably have to punch me in the face, and even then I might still make up an excuse for him. But he needs to be held accountable for some of the things he's doing right now, because he's hindering the great work he's done in the past, and he's hindering what could be a good season for us as well.
I mean, that's a good whistle-stop tour. It was nice to hear. It's nice that, by the way, I always big up Coppish. Great channel. Good people on there as well. Brilliant people. But one of the biggest reasons that I big it up is you're one of the only Liverpool platforms in the world that isn't part of communist Merseyside. Like, you're not, you speak the truth. You know, Dom Hussam does the same thing. And that isn't to say other Liverpool fans don't speak sense, but you guys get a little bit of a cooking. Hussam's a little bit more abrupt and a bit more abrasive, the way he kind of addresses things. But I've seen people all summer, like, essentially want to ostracize any Liverpool fan that said they needed a new midfielder, any Liverpool fan that said they needed to buy more, any Liverpool fan that said, I think Milner and Henderson are past it, and they've ignored that. And suddenly it took Jurgen Klopp to say I made a mistake, and then suddenly I've got a list here of players I think would work, and it really annoyed me. It should have been you guys they all came to and said, let's bow down to the feet of Coppish, let's bow down to the feet of Callum. In fact, let's clean them feet. You know what I mean, Jesus style, because they were wrong and you were right. And I'm not saying you're happy that you were right. You're not going to bask in that glory. In some respects, there must be more frustration because you didn't want to be right.
Precisely. Again, I don't want people to come to me and be like, oh, you're wrong. What I do want is for people to stop tagging me and saying, oh, look at this when Jurgen Klopp says something. I've been very consistent throughout the window. I have taken Klopp's words at face value. I don't like the whole notion of when something goes wrong, we blame the owners, but when something goes right, we say it's all on Klopp. They're all in bed together. And the reason I say that, if Klopp wasn't happy being Liverpool manager working under this regime, he wouldn't have signed a new contract. He just wouldn't have. He didn't have to. Jurgen Klopp could walk into any team in world football apart from Man City right now. He's that good of a manager. He decided to stay at Liverpool. The owners were never going to go anywhere. So that it's not like he had some secret idea or notion that we were going to get new owners, so for I signed a new contract. He knew what was going on. The issue I have with the whole midfield situation is throughout the summer, and I've got to shout out to Matt. Matt was the first person to really trigger it and said the midfield needs surgery. At the beginning of the summer, I said maybe we only need one. But as it started to come to fruition that Ox got injured, Naby got injured, like I was like, no, we need 2 really, but 1 at a minimum. And then we go through the summer and Jurgen Klopp comes out in interviews and said, why did we buy a centre midfielder? The only midfielder we can get is someone who's 1.95 centimetres, so 1.95 metres, and arrives late in the box and heads the ball in. That, for me, is crazy. Like, you look at our team, the reason we didn't win the league last season is because of midfield deficiencies. The games we drew or dropped points in was when the midfield was off. The Real Madrid game was a prime example. We're losing that game, and again, not even to dig him out. We bring on Naby Keita, and he does absolutely nothing to change the game. He gets a shot on the edge of the box and kicks it like he's Johnny Wilkinson. But until things change, until we change our philosophies, until our owners become more ambitious, until Jurgen Klopp stops being stubborn, these things aren't going to change. We are going to continue to be nearly men, and it really pees me off because I look at our team and I get Man United spent loads of money, Arsenal spent loads of money. But with all due respect to those teams, they had to spend that money to catch up with Liverpool and Manchester City. Liverpool didn't have to have a £200 million summer. £100 million would have done it. And I know £100 million isn't a small amount, but it's not like our owners give us loads of money every summer or every winter. So for me, you give a Klopp £100 million, let him do what he needs to do, and we see what he does with it. But the fact that he's not pressing the issue as well is an issue. And they're all in bed together, so they all get blamed together.
100 million on
Yeah,
Darwin.
I was about to say that Nunez cost
You
100.
spent
All
more
right,
than
all right. Okay, let's not do that, guys, because let's not act like we didn't. On a real. Let's not act like we didn't sell a Mane and we didn't have to sell a
Are you saying net? Are you saying net spend, or are you saying?
He's saying another 100 million would have solved the problem.
Yeah,
And
come on, Egal. You know what you're doing, Egal. I can see it in your eyes, bro.
You said, I just wanted more clarity, my guy.
You're trying to spin that, but you're trying to spin it.
Now, more clarity, but
you-
everything aside, you know me, man. I always have a lot of nice things to say about Liverpool, but at this moment in time, it's no longer just about injuries. It's not only just about the midfield. Even your players that have been there for a while, like Mo Salah, they look discombobulated because the attack has changed so much. So many things have changed so much around the scenes. In addition to your injury riddled situation, is there a little bit of burnout? Because that's what it's seeming like at this moment in time. And I know I got to give David props. He's been talking about this. It's coming eventually for a long time. Is that what we're seeing now? Or is it actually just not that at all?
I'll be honest, I don't think it's a case of burnout. What I will say is, so Pep Linders, our assistant manager, came out and spoke about it today. We've purposely changed Salah's position to make him more of a creator because you've got to accommodate Nunez, because Nunez can't create for himself, not in a rude way. He's not a creator. He's not a player that's going to pick up the ball like a Gabriel Jesus, dribble and then try and make something happen. He's not that guy. He's someone who's going to be on the end of things. But if you're doing that and forcing Salah to play wide, there's two things you've got to do. Nunez has got to be potent when he gets the ball, but also Trent's got to be willing to under and overlap Salah, and he doesn't do that. Trent crosses from deep positions. So when Salah gets the ball, he gets triple teamed. That is not an excuse for Salah, though, because Salah gets the ball nowadays and he's got a first touch of a trampoline. So he's having a bad season in terms of his overall play, but our tactics are actually making him look even worse than what he is. In regards to the injury situation, again, I can't sit here and blame injuries. If I sat here 10 weeks ago and I said to you guys, do you reckon Naby Keita and Ox are going to get injured?
You'd say yes.
You guys exactly say yes.
Thiago,
right
right?
then.
So
I can't sit here and be like, oh, it's a shock that we've got so many players injured. The players who have been injured are injury-prone players.
Stubborn. I think that's the biggest problem right now is the Klopp being stubborn, because when you look at it, he said our midfield target went to another club, right? So obviously Tchouaméni went to Real Madrid. And we know that your next target is Jude Bellingham. And it seems like he's basically like, I either get one of those guys or nobody. And I think it hit him later on in the window where he was like, oh shit, I probably could have got like Douglas Luiz or anybody else and I'd be okay. But to say like, I get it. I kind of respect the go after your target.
No, I don't.
To this point, you're like,
Also, Egal, don't put me in this Liverpool falling. Don't put me in that. They're not there yet. I know what it looks like. This is not it. If they had a competent midfield, they would be fine. Everything else on their team looks okay, right? Maybe Mo Salah needs to get a bit more informed, but everything else looks fine. I am not one of these people writing Liverpool off, and I'd love to because I hate Liverpool so much, but I ain't stupid. I ain't
It's a dark place, David.
I don't like them. I hate no team more.
You know what? Do you know what I think's interesting about it? Like I tweeted something at TalkSport today, and I said like they weren't giving United much credit for this 4-game winning run. I'm not talking about parade level credit. Just United have got better. There was none of it. And I was like, we beat the best Liverpool team of the last 30 odd years. We beat the team that's top of the league. And I listed a few things. And I've got Liverpool fans in my comments, and they're like, you think this is the best Liverpool team of 30 years? We've got Milner and Henderson. And I'm like, this time last, well, not quite this time last year, but 5 months ago, you were on your way to a quad and you were talking about this is the greatest Liverpool team of the Premier Era. And in fact, one of the top 2 teams of the Premier Era. A few months later, they're getting beat by people. And now suddenly, we shouldn't be. I'm hearing Liverpool fans talk about, actually, we're in the middle of a transition and a rebuild now. And I'm sorry, that's a load of bullshit. Your owners are just being tight-fisted and your manager is complicit in that. And I agree with you. The problem is that Jurgen Klopp is completely off limits when it comes to criticism from not just Liverpool fans, but even from the media. Like, this guy blames witches for things going wrong, and he isn't ridiculed for it. He is an absolute golden child of the media, and people are scared to go after him. They're scared to question Liverpool because your fans are like some of your fans are crazy. Like I literally tweeted about your Hicks and Gillette protest and how I feel like you should back Man United's protest to the point of not belittling them. So not you should stand shoulder to shoulder and march with them. Not that you should ask, be happy if the game got called off because they went too far, but you shouldn't ridicule them down to being unimportant and fans being ungrateful. I had like big Liverpool accounts spread rumors saying I was talking about Hillsborough, and they were like, he's been sharing pictures of Hillsborough. I went, all the pictures are about Hicks and Gillette, literally. Like and that's why I think sometimes people are a little bit scared to criticize Liverpool because they're scared of what the mob. There's a group of Liverpool fans online.
I'm a Liverpool fan, and I've been getting it rough. Pause. So I know how it is. Like,
no, it's crazy. But I mean, look, a question for the panel: do you guys think Liverpool are going to turn this round? Though, do you think Liverpool are going to get back to their best?
Yes and no.
Yeah. Why the no? Let's start with that.
The no, because they're when you look at it, what they only drew like what was it, 6 games last year or something? I can't remember the exact numbers, but they're like halfway already to the numbers that they lost and drew at this stage. It's going to be extremely difficult. They're going to have to go on crazy runs to be at their best. Like when Terry says back to their best, I see it like neck and neck with City. I don't right now. The way I feel it is like, unless it seems like everybody else is falling back to normal, so maybe it might be that way. But they're not going to be the Liverpool 100-point Liverpool that we've seen. They'll probably top 4. Yeah, I don't think they're out of the top 4 at any stage.
I don't think you need 100 points to win the league now, though, because even City, dare I say it right now, they don't look as strong. Touch wood, because obviously we got them on Saturday, so I don't want to jinx it. But Patrick, you're asking for they don't look as strong and as fluid right now. I know it's early days, so maybe you don't need 100 points like you're saying, Cam. Maybe you might need 85, 87, which is kind of what the typical standard is. But yeah,
I think the best Liverpool team.
The thing is,
I'm just gonna say this: you drop any more points, you're no longer looking at a situation where you say Liverpool can bounce back. At that point, you're saying Liverpool are fighting for the top 4, and that's it.
Yeah, I mean, Man United winning and Villa getting a draw out the blue has done Liverpool a big favor this weekend, because if Arsenal and City both had won, that gap starts to look, it would have been a 9-point gap or something like that from the top, and that's a long way to go.
Also, can we just say as well, like considering this season, considering how condensed it is, the one thing that might work against Liverpool is that their players will get injured again. Like Navigator and Ox will pick up more injuries just because they have to play so many games in such a short period of time.
They've not come back yet.
No, but I'm saying even when they do come back, you're going to end up playing Harvey Elliott and Fabio Carvalho again. And yeah, that might work sometimes. It might work against Leicester because they're that bad.
They're so young to rely on them. This super chat here says Liverpool and Arsenal really thought they were going to come to Old Trafford and win. Sit down, Arsenal and Liverpool. Will never be us. Biggest club in England. Well, biggest club in England in the world, actually, according to Graham Souness. So thank you for that one, Souness. We agree on something, which is good. Terry, that their inhalers have been taken away, is what Ryan says here. It's funny, since that got exposed, that is it like 96% of your team have got asthma? Suddenly the energy's gone. Maybe they're being looked at.
96%.
There we go. I'm going to save some of the other super chats that are more towards Arsenal and United a little bit later when we get to that section of the show. Yeah, go on, mate.
Cal, at what point are you going to start saying it's no longer a title race and it's just a team that's going to be looking for top 4? That's it.
I've already said it.
It's done.
There's
no title race this season.
No. Look how inconsistent we are, bro. I can't sit here, and you guys know me. If I genuinely thought we had a chance, I'd say it. We can't beat Man City this season. We can't. And if we're going to continue playing like this, it's not a title race, it's a top 4 race.
Cal, I got a question, I guess, because how do you feel? Obviously, it's early, and Nunez has a lot of time to grow. But how do you feel about letting Mane go, getting Nunez in this time? Because the way it looks at it is like you guys were in your pomp with that front 3. It seemed like it still had a few years left in it, and you let Mane go because of whatever, and now you bring in Nunez. For me, I've said it. I think you saved us from ourselves, because I don't think he would have fit us either. How do you feel about the signing right now in this time, seeing what Mane's doing in Bayern and how Salah's new position's not really working?
So you're basically asking my missus has left me and she's getting smashed by a new guy. How do I feel? Is that what you're saying? That's basically what you're asking me, Cam. Yeah, yeah. I'm over the moon, bro. I'm so happy for her. Like, I hope they have babies and everything, bro. I'm furious about it. Like, I love Mane. I know he had some bad form before he left and all of that stuff, but I never once wanted Mane to leave. When he was going through the bad form, I did come out and say I think we need to get someone so he becomes more of a rotational player. But never did I want him to leave. But again, I think there's a narrative that's been built up that we had to sell Mane to give Salah the wages he wanted. Mane wanted to leave. He let that be known from like January and all that. So we knew Mane was leaving. Hence why we fast-tracked the deal for Diaz, especially when we knew Tottenham were coming in for him. So the Mane, we always knew Mane was leaving. Again, if I'm going to be consistent, I've never wanted Darwin Nunez. I don't think he's rubbish. He's not the sort of player that really gets me off my seat. And I think, I mean, I know everyone will look at the goals he scored last season. For me, that doesn't justify the fee we paid, or it doesn't solidify him as being an out-and-out goal scorer. He's had one good goal scoring season.
That touch as well. Like, I have to say, like, one of those things, people like made lots of memes in the summer, but every game, even the games where he's played well and scored, he has 4 or 5 of them touches per game, or slice shots or mistakes that are just like, oh wow, did he really do that? Why UFC here with a great point, says Callum. But when you have a player like Salah, the striker has to sacrifice for him, not the other way around. Prime example would be Benzema and Ronaldo. I mean, I
know this.
I get that, and maybe the person didn't hear you sort of allude to that. I do think it shows 2 things. It's a big risk of Jurgen Klopp. I mean, you've got to remember this about Mo Salah. Yes, he's got GA, goals and assists, but predominantly he's been a goal getter. He has been scoring and assisting at the same rate per game as Thierry Henry for the past 3 years. To change his role, Thierry Henry's role never got changed. As an example, Wayne Rooney's role got changed at Man United, but that worked because the club invested. They had Sir Alex, and they had enough quality elsewhere to handle that as an example. But it didn't work every season. Sometimes Rooney got dropped into a 10, because that's why I look at Rooney as one of the greatest players of the Premier League era, because he could play 10, he could play striker, he could play left, he could play right, he could play in midfield. Most players couldn't do that. Sometimes it worked for us because the new signing that came in, Van Persie, worked because Van Persie came in and got the goals as well as Rooney creating behind. If Van Persie flopped and didn't score or put in poor performances, it would have been a bad bit of business. And that's the risk that Jurgen Klopp's taking by changing his system and the roles of particular players, is that you could end up with Salah not scoring and assisting as much, not influencing the games as much, and you move backwards. So it's a very, very, very brave move to change essentially a winning formula. And maybe that's why we're seeing a really poor Trent, because now the creativity is coming from the wide player in front of him. And when you take Trent's creativity away, you've basically got Phil Neville. Do you know what I mean? Like,
not even Gary, Phil.
He's no longer right back one. I'm saying it. He's no longer right back
the
one.
problem with Trent this season hasn't been his creativity. He's still been throwing crosses in and actually creating chances. The problem has been nonchalance, whether it be attacking or defensively. The game against Everton, where he got hooked off at the weekend, he actually had a really good game defensively, but no one highlights that. He was very good defensively. No one got past him. He was clearing the lines. He was covering for our centre-backs who weren't really doing their job a lot. When it comes to Trent, the problem I have with Trent is he treats the ball like a hot potato sometimes. Because he's passing so good, he feels as though he doesn't need to take a touch or play it simple. He always wants to play the Hollywood pass, which makes us lose possession. And because we haven't got midfielders who can get the ball back quickly and keep the ball, it hinders us. So Trent, defensively, over the last few weeks has been okay. Attacking wise has been a problem. But again, it's one of them things, man.
Didn't you lose to Man United last week?
Say again, sorry?
Did you not lose to Man United last week?
A couple of weeks ago.
That was a couple of weeks
ago. Oh, sorry, I'm losing track of time.
Yeah, 2 weeks today. Guna Lee here, big up yourself, my friend. He says, I hope Drifty does not see what Callum said. Lock your door. Hashtag Nunez. There was another super chat, a few that came through that I wanted to read out. In my opinion, Liverpool should have brought Ivan Toney. We're going to move on to Toney a little bit later in the show, so bear with us on that one. Thank you, Mark, for becoming an official member.
My guy Mark, he's a good
Terrace.
guy. Spurs fan.
Mark, not Mark. Thank you very, very much. I appreciate that, my friend. Become a squad member. We really do. And by the way, if we hit 850 likes while we're live, I will gift out. I'm in a good mood today because of what happened yesterday. So 50 free memberships for you if we hit 850 likes. This year, the title race is between Chelsea, Man United. Chelsea first, United second. Stop. Okay. I'd love that to be true to a degree. United being second, but no, we're not finishing above City. That's not happening. But thank you for the super chat, bro. Really do appreciate that. Now, of course, yesterday was a big day. Arsenal, there was Arsenal fans talking about invincibility, title contention, Old Trafford being a place they were going to come to and win, going to batter United. Egal, you're very self said that, Xhaka 10 times better passer of the ball than any Man United midfielder. You think you said in the combined 11, only one or two of our players could even get into your team. So it was a big day. Like Arsenal fans built it up. A lot of United fans believe they could win as well. The game didn't disappoint. I don't know what you guys felt as neutrals, but it felt like a good game of football, end to end, controversy, some great goals as well. Egal, though, how are you feeling now? 24 hours on from the humbling 3-1 defeat.
I don't think it was humbling. I think it was a lot closer. The scoreline was kind of flattering at the end because Mikel Arteta made substitutions that led to us conceding the third goal and being very weak in the back after making substitutions. But right now, I've looked back at it. I said to myself, we are not clinical, and we need to bury our chances a little bit better. Manchester United, credit to Rashford and Anthony, buried their dinner when they got their chances. And you know what? Eriksen proved me wrong. I got to give it up to him. I did not think he was going to have that type of performance in this game. I thought, especially if you didn't have Casemiro or someone solid, Scott McTominay really stepped up and showed a level that I haven't seen from him in a while. And you know what? As you said, Terry, this was probably one of the first big games this season, and it felt like it mattered so much more than like it's mattered over the last couple of years. So it was really good game to watch. But of course, I'm very, I would say, disappointed in the result, but I'm still proud of the team because I felt like we played well.
What? Wait, sorry. What are you proud?
You know the definition of humble?
I'm sorry, you lot. No, I'm sorry.
No, I gotta ask. Let me ask this question. Do you know what it means to be humble? Do you know what that like? Because to say it wasn't humbling is wild.
It wasn't, because at the end of the day, we still came and we dominated possession.
No. Here's the deal.
We lost. And I think the defeat, but it's not a humbling defeat.
No. So going into that game, Egal, I'm gonna teach you what humbling means, because going into that game, I saw invincibles. I saw Arsenal gonna smash United. Hold on, no, I saw from you. Oh, Partey, I would take over Casemiro, a guy who's won way more in his career than Partey will ever get close to. I saw Xhaka as the best passer. I saw you leaving out United players. You left our center backs, people out of your main 11. You got humbled. That's the definition of it, because everything you were saying got completely destroyed. Like straight up, your midfield, at the end of the day, yes, you did control the game. It was a good game. I will say that. You played well. But we played better. You played into our hands. You think Erik ten Hag did not go into that game knowing that Arteta was going to play the exact same way? That stupid high line. He put Rashford and Bruno there, and he's like, yo, just wait for it. Just wait for it. You guys played in your shape for the first 20 minutes. We sat back. We saw how you're going to play. And literally Arteta got found out by a better manager, in my opinion. In my opinion, he got found out by a better manager. That is being humble. If Arteta was not so egotistical and not so naive, he would not have played a super high line against one of, if not the best counterattacking team in the country. Like, what do you mean? That's the definition of being humble. Eat it.
No, listen, I'm not just going to sit here and just and give you guys all these praises and then after say yes or no. I genuinely believe it was a closer game, and you guys are genuinely overdoing this thing where you're saying we got humbled. We did not get humbled. This was a close game. The scoreline was flattering to you guys at the end because Arteta made some mistakes. I get that. But this whole thing about, where Erik ten Hag's a better manager than Arteta, let's see.
What do you mean? Let's see. What do you mean? Oh my God!
Let's see how he does throughout the rest of the season. Let's see how he does with Manchester United. Because at the end of the day, I heard that Graham Potter is a better manager than him. I heard Eddie Howe is a great manager than him. I hear every single manager that everyone mentions next to Arteta. Put some respect on Mikel Arteta's name. What he's been able to do at Arsenal as of yet. And
what has he done though? What has Mikel Arteta done? You're saying put respect on his name. What has he done? What you finished? Yeah, you went from eighth, and then fifth. I get it. That's decent-ish, but he hasn't done anything for you to say put some respect on his name. Graham Potter, you see him with a very weak team. He lost his two best players. The guy's still balling out. Eddie Howe, you've seen the transition and the transformation of Newcastle. These guys are doing a lot. And yeah, you did get humbled because it's your first big test. Yeah, go on.
Let me ask you this: what does he have to do for you guys to? Because at the end of the day, you guys are never going to rate the manager.
No, if he gets top four, top four, and he wins the Europa League, we will rate him. We'll have to rate him.
You got to remember as well. Arsenal has spent the most money in Europe over the last 2 seasons.
I was just going to say that. Like,
listen. Arsenal spent the most money. Manchester United spent 230 million this window.
We're talking about over the period Arteta's been here.
Yeah, over the course of the last 2 seasons, Arsenal have spent money.
Pump the brakes on talking about Arsenal's money spent when you got 2 other teams within the top 6.
However, Egal, if we were held to your standards, you'd say that we were failures.
Bro, I'm not holding Chelsea to that.
Egal, let me just Egal, stop a minute, stop. How much money did the club spend in Wenger's last year and
you have to Google it, Terry.
The reason I'm saying is this is what Arsenal fans keep trying to do to Erik ten Hag, and it is wrong because you are literally hypocrisizing something that nearly every single Arsenal fan has sat on the terrace, forget outside this platform, that you've sat here and done. It's irrelevant what was spent before Arteta and what's spent after Arteta. Arteta can only be judged on what he has been given to spend. So the fact that Ten Hag inherited a good squad or a bad squad, yes, he spent 196 million. You've added all the add-ons on so far. They haven't been paid yet because we haven't achieved Champions League football or anything, right? So 200 million pounds has been spent. That's it. That's about half of what your manager has spent so far. So the expectations on Arteta after nearly 3 years of integrating his system, spending 300 to 400 million pounds and having a team which has got you all so excited and happy. And by the way, I've praised you guys. You are improving. I think you're a brilliant team. So the expectations have to be high. What I saw yesterday was a changing of Arsenal fans sitting there going, well, you guys have actually got loads of world-class players. You've got a really good squad. 4 weeks ago, before a ball was kicked, you guys were predicting us coming 6th, 7th. We had Gunnar Lee on the channel predicting us struggling to make it in the top 10. We beat you, and suddenly, actually, Man United are a really, really good team. Which is it? Like, that's the bit that annoys me. You're shaking your head, but that's exactly what you have done. Now, Arsenal, by the way, let me just say about your play yesterday. You guys played very well in terms of moving the ball forward. I'll kind of rewatch the game, and I've listened to other people in the last 24 hours. You played well, as in your play on the ball, your approach play was excellent. Your finishing was horrendous, and your defending was very, very silly. And the point of you saying we played really well until our manager made a mistake on the 70th minute, I mean, that's a bit like if that was the other way around and you made a mistake with the starting lineup and you were 3-0 down in the first 20 minutes, would you say that you played well? Like, your manager made a mistake. Like, you guys, I don't think the score was flattering to Man United. It only happened because your manager made a mistake. Like, that's a big thing. That's a big thing. So I think Arsenal's approach play was excellent, but there was a lot of naivety in that. And I think what would serve your players better would be to say, well done for your attempts. There's some mistakes that have been made here, and focus on your team getting better. But all I've really heard for 24 hours is deflection, refs, deflection. Look what Ten Hag's had to spend. Deflection. He inherited a really, really good squad. It's mad to me.
Terry, I only mentioned that because we got Patrick here who brought up the 150 that we spent last summer. Hence why I brought up this summer where Manchester United and Chelsea.
You know what?
I wasn't trying to belittle Ten Hag current achievements in winning 4 games in a row by saying you spent 200 and whatever million you spent. I'm just pointing it out. Have the same energy for those clubs also. Now, bringing it back to what you just said, nobody's actually saying we're going to finish invincible except big up Arsenal Mo, but he wasn't even referring to this season. He was saying potentially in the future he could see us doing that.
I know that. We're a bit flippant with that.
I just want to address one more thing. Manchester United. I'm not saying you guys are now going to automatically finish top 4. This is your team has turned the corner. No, you guys have won 4 games. You guys have been playing well. We've been seeing Erik ten Hag's early form. But you know what? Let's continue. This is a long season. There's going to be a lot of trials and tribulations. But from what I've seen from Erik ten Hag's Manchester United and your new signings hitting the ground running, this could be a very interesting top 4 battle because we could have 5 teams in a top 4 battle.
No, I get that.
All
I get
all
that.
I'm saying is that Arsenal did a typical Chelsea performance and they got praised for it. I don't get it. I'm sorry. Chelsea held the ball really well. We pass it around the box quite well, but we don't score. Everyone says, you're boring. You don't know what you're doing. You guys need to sort it out, blah, blah, blah. Arsenal do the same thing. Oh, bloody hell. You know what? They're actually quite good, And I'm sorry, it shows the level. It shows that you guys are you're just not there. And I know you guys have gone on a really good win streak, and it looks fantastic. But I know what's going to happen. By the end of the season, Egal's going to be fuming. That's what I just know it's going to happen. I'm watching Arsenal right now, and I see the same old Arsenal the whole time.
Main character syndrome. You always have to bring Chelsea into it somehow.
But I'm using us as an example. I'm using us as an example because
I get
we
it.
play football the same way that you did.
No,
but
you
then
don't.
you get praised for it.
No, you don't.
You don't.
No. I'm sorry. There have been games where we pass the ball around the box and look quite good doing it, but then we don't score a goal or we don't score enough goals to win the game. And everyone says, well, you played badly. You didn't do what you went out to go and do. But when Arsenal lose 3-1 to one of their main rivals, oh no, it's fine. They play quite well.
Yeah.
Gabriel's used to a couple dribbles. Nonsense. Absolute nonsense.
Egal, can I ask?
Ridiculous.
Go on, Cal.
Why is it that you feel as though so a couple of questions. Why is it you feel rival fans should put more respect on Arteta's name? And also the same energy that Man United fans are giving you guys is the same energy that Arsenal fans have been giving the rest of the league because you've won some games. But again, no disrespect to the teams you've beaten the teams that put in front of you, but none of them you describe as top teams. You've beaten the teams you're kind of meant to beat, but yet we've been hearing that this is a new Arsenal and this and that. Plus, wouldn't you argue Man United are in a rebuild? So really and truly, you shouldn't be getting beaten by Man United. And I know we're going to say Liverpool, we got our asses handed to us as well, but we held that. Whereas Arsenal fans, it feels as though we're just kind of trying to turn the page on it and be like, just a fluke, it's calm, we'll be back next week and we'll win the rest of our league games.
Okay. First of all, Cal, yes, we should have beat Manchester United, but going away from home to face Manchester United.
Why should you beat Man United?
One second. Based on the run of the game, you guys deserve the win, and we lost that game fair and square. I get it, but going into the game, we were favorites. Let me reword it. And the teams that we played this season, it's not like we faced any of the top 6. I hear that, but we have taken points from teams that have taken points from yourselves, from Manchester City, and from some of the other top teams in this league. So you have to respect the fact that we won our first 5 games. The reason why I say put respect on Arteta's name is because it seems like every single time we talk about Mikel Arteta, we don't talk about the transition of how he's trying to transition the team, or we don't talk about the way that things are going on the pitch. We only refer to the league finishes and the fact that he hasn't had a resume prior to coming to Arsenal. And I feel like those are the 2 things that people draw upon the most, rather than what's happening on the pitch now or how he's actually having the players performing on a regular week-to-week basis, let alone just the fact that we lost this game. Now people are
sorry to cut you on that one. Egal, if I had £5 in my pocket and I transformed that £5 into, let's say, £100,000, or if you gave me £100,000, I turn it into £200,000, which would you say is the better business person? The one with £5 or the one with 100,000?
The one with the larger sum of money
is the better business person to start with.
No, not to start with. The one that finishes with the bigger accomplishment.
So the £5 person who starts, right?
Yes.
All right, that's my point with Arteta. We're acting like he transformed Arsenal before he even started spending money. Like, we've seen other managers transform teams before they started spending money. Arteta is meant to be playing better football because he's buying better players every summer. That just should be a normal thing. And I ask you this, and I'm not even trying to be shady, but is Arteta playing better football than, say, a Graham Potter would be playing, or someone else in his position? Because I genuinely don't think so.
Okay. Once again, I think these kind of comparisons, I get it, because Graham Potter has Brighton playing at a really good level and they're playing scintillating football. I can't answer that question. But what I can answer is what Mikel Arteta is doing with everyone says with a lesser team, right? With as a lesser manager, as you guys all say, he's competing and putting himself in the same bracket as Chelsea, Tottenham, and all these other teams that have world-class managers in Conte and Thomas Tuchel, and have all these players who are world-class level. So if you have lesser players and you're a lesser manager, but you're putting yourself in the same bracket, hence why doesn't he get the respect that he deserves?
Because you competed for one season without European football, and the other teams had European football.
Exactly. And then you've now brought in Jesus and Zinchenko and good players. You've brought in players that are at the level that should be. Yeah, because when Gabriel Jesus and Zinchenko were signed, we were told that they would start at Tottenham, they'll start at this team, they'll start at that team. So you can't be disingenuous. It can't be one thing one time and another.
I would say this before we kind of move on to some other points around this game. I want to say before we move on to some other points around this game, Arteta is never going to get the same respect as Tuchel, Klopp, or Pep or Conte until he starts winning the trophies they've won. And that's no disrespect to you know how much I praised Arsenal this year. And I'm not even like bitter about yesterday, even if you'd have won. I think you're a very good team. I think you've improved. I stand by everything I've said about Arsenal this year. It was just disappointing to see the reaction from some Arsenal fans act like I thought some people on fan cams were going to say it was a free hit, really, because we're still top. I thought that was going to come out, but you can never ask for Arteta to get the same level of respect a Champions League winning or a Premier League winning or a La Liga winning manager gets. Like, it's impossible. Like Ten Hag, I can get it. He hasn't won a league title in what you would consider one of the top 2, top 3 leagues, but he still won like back-to-back Eredivisie. He still won league titles, but I totally get your point.
He was in a Champions League semi.
Yeah.
Arteta's like, I'm sorry.
I understand that. So my pushback, even as someone who's praised Arsenal, is that Arteta doesn't deserve the respect that those managers get in terms of how well he's praised until he's achieved the same as them. The same as I will never allow a manager who's achieved less than Fergie to be put next to him, and you wouldn't allow a manager that hasn't done what Wenger's done to sit next to him. So it's exactly, and you guys, if anyone even mentions, do you reckon Salah could be in the GOAT conversation? You guys spill out everything that Henry has done, and rightfully so, because he's universally accepted really as the Premier League's GOAT. So this works in exactly the same way with the same logic. Until Arteta starts to do what the other top managers have done, he won't be given the same level of respect as them. And that's dictated by all football fans. And I always thought that was something that was universally understood. Like, you don't do that. But look, we've got some super chats we want to do, and then we're going to keep talking about the game because, of course, there were some big controversial decisions yesterday. This super chat, well, I know that Giovanni, I'm going to mention your thing in a minute. It's going to fit in. Sometimes I don't put the super chats up until they're relevant to the conversation. So please stay relaxed when watching, please. Nabil here says, Egal, I saw your show last night. Big up to you. But you got smoked yesterday. Cheers, panel. Liverpool deserve this. Keep chanting Glazers in karma, is what Nabil says. Man like Arsenal mid is 10 times better. Even KDB and Kante aren't better, as in 10 times better, I think he means. But Arsenal fans and their delusion continues. Man United had 6 shots on target. Arsenal only had 3. It's annoying to watch Arsenal fans and the club complaining about the ref, injuries, and so on, and not giving credit to the opponent's team. To gain respect, you also have to give respect. I don't see that from Arsenal at all.
That's a good point, man. Very good point.
It is a fair point, and we are going to come back to some more super chats. And I wanted to speak about the decisions yesterday because, of course, there was the disallowed. VAR is going to be. We're going to go into VAR in this conversation, but of course, there was the big VAR decision that went against Arsenal, as it were. They didn't get the decision that they felt they got. Like, what is everyone's take on this? Were Arsenal essentially robbed of an opening goal, or do people feel that it was rightfully disallowed?
You know what, Terry? It's so tricky because it's not. No. Listen, let me land, David. Let me land. The VAR is meant to come in for clear and obvious errors, and even as a Tottenham fan, I don't know if that was a clear and obvious error. No, I'm just being legit.
No,
it was a very soft foul. It was a soft foul.
Are we actually doing this? This is a joke.
I'm sorry. It's
he
a
goes
foul.
In,
but
Odegaard goes in for a tackle on Eriksen.
Yeah.
He doesn't win the ball. He goes through his knee and he goes through his ankle. How is that not? And they literally
it was quite soft though, David. Just from that same passage. Just be honest. Just watch it. It's very for a guy to go down like that with minimal contact. It's soft. I don't care who the player is. If it's Arsenal, if it's Chelsea,
literally gone from
let's
that
call a spade a
tackle.
spade.
No, they've
Yeah.
gone from that tackle and they've gone and scored literally with one pass.
I hear that.
I'm
but
sorry.
You're talking about the
it's a
offense.
clear and obvious error.
It's not an error, though, is it? It's
if that foul
I
is
don't know.
committed on the field anywhere else, the ref would give it. So why in that situation would the ref not give it? Because ultimately,
let me ask you this.
we want the referee to make the right decision. That is the correct
100%,
decision. That's the
What,
correct
so-
decision.
But the ref didn't give it. That's what I'm saying. You said it
But it's the
anywhere else
correct
on the
decision.
on the
It is the
field
correct
he would
decision.
give. He didn't give it. That's the whole
It's the
point.
correct
Yeah,
decision.
but guys, this is the thing I would say, and there is something that maybe I should say this at the end, but I'm going to say it now. What we need to hear is what's being said, because in this scenario, if the VAR says, whoever the VAR is, I'm the VAR, Terry. If I'm like, Paul, did you see Martinelli? Sorry, did you see Odegaard touch the ball? Yeah, he got the ball. No, we watched the replay. He didn't touch the ball. Oh, I thought he won the ball. Therefore, if you thought, like, let me ask you this question: if you thought that the Odegaard won the ball and he doesn't touch it at all, that is the definition of a clear and obvious mistake, because you thought something happened that completely didn't.
But guys, is every time a contact happens, is that a foul?
But that is
this is what
that's
is
a
football a
foul.
non-contact sport.
That's
That's
a
not.
I'm
it's
sorry,
not,
that's
it's
a
not.
foul.
So
It's a foul.
I mean, to be
think
fair,
I gotta-
I don't.
So
Yeah, go on, go on.
I'm going to say something that's because like obviously I'm going to try and not be biased when I watch it, because I do hate the way VAR is used in some situations, because I think the clear and obvious thing needs to go away. Because in that situation, the problem with that and watching it back, because I did have to watch it back because I actually missed it, but I had to watch it back, was my problem with it was Anthony Taylor was really close and should have seen it. He should have seen it. He should have seen it and he didn't. So in that time, he didn't deem it a foul. So going back and deeming it a foul is like, well, if you really didn't think so, was it a clear and obvious error? Now, was it a foul? It was. It was, because at the end of the day, and like even your legend, Egal, and I watched all of them, Ian Wright and all those guys, he came out and said it's like in today's football, the way football is played today, that's a foul every day, all day, right? So it comes down to two things on what you want to argue. Do you want to argue saying, was it a clear and obvious mistake by the ref, and should he have gone back? So Paul Tierney, my bad, not Anthony Taylor. Should he have gone back? Because that's a different argument. Or was it a foul regardless? Because it was a foul regardless. Now, what Patrick's saying is I kind of agree with, where was it a clear and obvious mistake?
There you go. That is my whole point.
It took a while. So there's those two parts of the argument that make it very controversial. Now, for me, Eriksen, people are like, oh, he went down easy. Eriksen's not known for I guarantee you, if that was Bruno that went down, that stays a goal. I promise you. Yeah, it stays a goal. But because Eriksen's not known for just going down, he's not known for a player to flop. So that also leads to people being like, we need to go look at that. And Bruno, credit to him being a strong captain, was like, I'm not going to get out of your air until you go look at it. Because he could, like, if the United players just let that go, I don't know if he goes back. But they circled him and they're like, there was a clear foul. So this is where it's tough, because now we have to decide, was it a clear and obvious error versus was it a foul? I think it was a foul every day, all day, especially in today's football. Maybe not 5-10 years ago. But was it a clear and obvious error? That's up for debate.
Do you guys? Can I make one point, Egal, quickly? One quick point, really quick point, and then you can go. Do you think that referees are sat here now saying, because I know there's technology that can defend me, I don't need to make a decision? Because that's personally what I think is going on. I think referees are going, I don't have to make a decision, because ultimately, if Man United had intercepted the pass, my decision doesn't mean anything because I can't affect it afterwards. I think referees are going to get into the stage where they're looking at things going, if something does happen from the situation, the VAR is going to bail me out anyway, so I don't have to make the decision now. That's what I think is going on.
We just have bad referees. I don't think they think that deep into it. I just think we have bad referees across the board.
By the way, Arteta came out after the game and said he spoke to the referee, and the referee said to him that it was soft. And immediately I'm thinking to myself, these guys are just terrible. Like, obviously, I'm not gonna just say, oh, we lost the game because of that, because it was still 0-0, and there's no excuses of saying, you know what, you lost the game because of the opening goal that didn't end up happening, realistically. But where's the consistency? Because there was both sides. You could say that there was calls that didn't go our way, and there's been issues throughout this game. I watched that Brighton Leicester game. I think Tielemans gave a shoulder barge to a player and scored a goal from it directly. Similar situation. Obviously, he didn't use his foot to barge into a player, but instead he used his shoulder. So you're allowed to do that. In the box, we had the other day, we had Tyrone Mings flip Bukayo Saka in the box and just get on the ball and move away with it like nothing happened. There's incidents that happen all the time.
Yeah,
These referees are terrible from start to finish, and we've seen it throughout this whole weekend. Crystal Palace game, Chelsea game, all these games, they're never going to change until there's transparency and they're held accountable for their actions.
I get that, but the thing is, I mean, that the one you get, I've seen a lot of Arsenal fans talk about the Saka Mings one. I remember that clearly. That weren't a foul. That was the player just flopping to the ground. But even in that game, though, this is my point.
He picked him up with one hand.
No,
oh my God! No, he did not. No, he didn't.
Again, this is the thing. It wasn't a foul. But in the same game, though, just before the incident, this was given as a foul. McTominay pushed Martinelli in the back, and Martinelli, very like all players do when they're shadowing a ball out, they get a nudge in the back and they fall over. Right? That was given 2 minutes before as a foul. So if this is given, this is my point, right? I didn't want to put the tweets up because if I'm quite a prominent Arsenal fan, I don't want the beef. But I've got tweets of his from that pushing the back saying that should be a yellow card. You're not allowed to push people in the back from behind. To 2 minutes later saying it's a contact sport. It shouldn't have been a foul on Eriksen. Those incidents for me, McTominay pushing Martinelli in the back, followed by this not just being a push in the side stroke back. This was like catching his knee and his leg. There is no real difference between those two tackles. Arsenal fans wanted McTominay sent off because this should have been a booking according to them because he did it a couple of times. But then this shouldn't be given as a foul because it's a contact sport. And for me, I don't mind, but you've got to be consistent in either direction. You either want that level of contact, which means I never want to hear you moan when one of your players gets pushed over. And that's my kind of issue with a lot of this. And VAR made some mad decisions, but the biggest decision that went missing yesterday, it was two massive decisions. Arsenal should have been down to 10 men yesterday, in a lot of people's opinions. Firstly, you had Sambi, who catches Bruno Fernandes ridiculously high. Doesn't get the ball his right foot, catches him ridiculously high. For some reason, I have not heard the mainstream media or Arsenal fans talk about this tackle. Not a single one of them has mentioned this tackle, spoke about this tackle, or suggested that this tackle should have been reviewed. For me, it may be a red card. It's definitely, in my opinion, a yellow card, even if he wins the ball, because to go through and catch somebody that high, I think is wrong. Now I've got to be careful with this next thing because I don't want to get a copyright strike, right? But there's another bit of footage that someone's shown to me today, and I wanted to save it until I was on this show, right? And I'm going to put this on the screen just for you now to see. Now this was Gabriel Jesus. I can't play it, but Gabriel Jesus stands up. I'm going to forward it. Gabriel Jesus stands up. You can see it here. Kicks the player. I'm going to play this little bit here at risk to myself. Kicks him. You literally see him kick out of the player. Now, I'm not saying I want a man sent off for that. I'm not saying I want someone sent off for this reason, right? But look, bang, kicks out at him. My point is this. I don't mind people saying there's bad decisions in football, but I am sick to my back teeth of people crying conspiracy theory and only crying about referees when the decisions don't go their way. I'm very happy. You said something on the show yesterday, Egal, that infuriated me. The decisions weren't 50-50. You could have been down to 10 men if the referees were given the right decisions yesterday, but you didn't cry about that because it didn't bother you. Do you not see that as a clear kick at our defender? Is that not a clear kick in there?
100%.
Okay. First of all,
I don't want no deflections. Is that a kick on the defender, Egal?
Yes, and you know
what? Why has this incident not been trending? Why is it only the Man United goal that's been trending?
Say it again. I don't know. Ask the people in charge. There's a lot of incidents that I feel like.
I ask you because you're someone who's been pushing one agenda and not the other.
Bro, at the end of the day, I'm looking at it from my perspective. I'm looking at my players and I'm looking at what has happened. I could name you 6 or 7 incidents throughout this game that I feel like were egregious. But I'm not doing that. I've only pointed out and spoken about the actual highlighted moments.
You want refs to get better, but you only want to hold them accountable for one side. It doesn't make sense. I'm sorry. The thing is with me is that I've almost accepted that fans are part of the problem because because even when we had our situation that we'll get onto, Daniel literally said in the group chat, we got screwed at Tottenham, so therefore we're owed this one. But that doesn't mean West Ham should be screwed over. It's like everyone across the board is getting screwed over by these refs. So there's got to be a point where we all just sit there and go, either we call them out for every single thing that they do wrong, or we don't call them out at all. Because I don't think, personally, this weekend, I don't think Paul Tierney actually had a bad game. I thought he was quite good, personally.
Okay,
I
by the way,
thought he understood what was going on and said, if I give every single foul on this field, we're not going to have a football game. That is part of the account that he has.
Let me just stop you. If you're going to say part of the problem, let me ask you this. Every single one of us here on this panel, did you see Gabriel Jesus kick Lisandro Martinez before that footage came on Twitter?
No, I did, yeah. But what I will say, Lisandro is a little naughty to him. Not in the sense of, it was almost similar to the Nunez and Anderson thing. Maybe Lisandro could have got a yellow card for what he did to Gabriel, but Gabriel kicking out like that by the letter of the law is a red card. So no one's saying, well, I'm not saying Martinez is innocent, but obviously Gabriel's not.
No,
I earlier in the game.
But the reason why it wasn't mentioned is this: one, I'm not VAR. Two, I don't get to show the replays, and until somebody somewhere finds that, and by the way, that was highlighted by BN Sport, and it was put out. Unless a TV company highlights that and shows it to us, we're not going to see it because we're not looking at that part of the game, right? That isn't our job as fans. We're watching the football as an example. But my point is this: you Arsenal fans, you're right to feel frustrated. But this notion that it wasn't balanced and everything went against you and everything went for Manchester United is a complete fallacy and a lie. No one moans about Arsenal fans being upset with referees. What we find laughable is this notion that there's a conspiracy. Last year, the stat that some of your fans released, we've had like per 90 minutes, we get like an extra 1 red card. I can't remember what it was now. But it was like, yeah, but like something like 70% of your red cards were for violent conduct. It was for like grabbing throats, kicking people. And it's like when you took all the violent conduct red cards away, you were like 15th on the list for red cards per 90 minutes. Like you're not being mistreated. It was ill discipline from your players. Like Xhaka grabbing a man around the throat isn't the referees having a conspiracy with you. And like I've said, Arsenal have improved this year as a football team. But it really frustrated me yesterday that you couldn't take the L, you couldn't own it. And you guys were setting this up in the week. Paul Tierney's from Salford, therefore he's going to back Man United. He isn't a Man United fan. If you're from Salford and you're not a Man United fan, you're not going to help Man United. Like, if you've lived in Manchester and you're not a Man United fan, you don't like Manchester United. In fact, he shouldn't have been the referee for that reason. Like, it's like if you're from North London and you're not an Arsenal fan, if I said to you, I was born in North London, but I'm not an Arsenal fan, would you trust me around Arsenal? No, exactly the point. But Arsenal fans all week built up this excuse. We're going to get screwed by the ref, And I know when that got disallowed, that was it. I reckon there was a sense of relief amongst some weak Arsenal fans to go, you know what? If we lose now, it's okay. We'll pull it all on the referee. And you know why that's wrong? You know why that's wrong? Because your team has been so good this year. And what they deserved was praise for elements, a bit of criticism in the right areas. And do you know what, guys? You'll be good enough next time. Instead, they're given these weak excuses of the referee screwed us. And I think it's wrong. You weren't robbed. I don't even necessarily think you were humbled per se. You just got beaten by the slightly better team on the day. That's
Terry,
Okay,
Terry, you know when you keep saying that Arsenal have been so good this year and everyone keeps going on about Arsenal being fantastic. Have they though, really? They've beaten teams that you expect them to beat. Crystal Palace at home, away, first game of the season. I get it. That's a tricky fixture. But we all know Crystal Palace had a disjointed preseason. They didn't come back ready, and you've seen how much better they've been. Yeah. Other than that, it's teams you would expect them to beat literally every week. Cool. They beat them. Cool. I get it. First big test away from home. And let's be honest, they got smashed. The scoreline was 3-1, but it could have been 4s and 5s. Ramsdale played a lazy pass out, got should have scored. Ronaldo was free. If Fred puts him in, that's another goal. Ronaldo was free again on the back stick, didn't get the cross in. It could be 4 or 5-1. So the fact that everyone keeps saying, Arsenal have been fantastic. Arsenal have been good, I get it, but they haven't been as good as people are making them out to be. Okay. And like I said, first big test away from home. Let me see what they're saying. And they got beat quite comfortably, if we're being honest. They had 60% possession.
I'll answer that because I'm answering it because it's a question for me, and I'll move it out to everybody else, right? My view is this. I get the notion that now Arsenal fans watching the last bit are going to think, he hates this. I don't hate anyone. I'm just unbiased. Arsenal beating teams they should beat is something I haven't seen Arsenal do regularly for nearly 20 years. Especially the last 10 years. They haven't beaten the team they should beat for nearly 10 years. So when they start doing it, and for me, I think they won those opening 5 games comfortably. And you're absolutely right. Yesterday could have gone either way. But United could have scored 4 or 5. But equally, Saliba had an absolute sitter early on. Odegaard should have scored. The goal that was disallowed, it could have gone the other way. And I think Cam made a great point. If it was Bruno that went down like that, I think reputation comes in. He's a bit of a diver. He's a bit weak. Therefore, they make that decision. So there were 2 or 3 moments and chances in the game. Saka, when he turned Malacia inside out and shot, I think he should have scored from that. They also could have done it. It was a fairly even game. They don't have a great record at United. They got a little bit naive. The manager got naive at the end and they made a mistake. But what I believe is that they'll bounce back from this, and I think they could go on to win the next few games again. And I think Arsenal are going to be a mainstay in the top 4 race. And I said it, and I haven't changed my mind after yesterday because I was impressed with large parts of their games, which is why I'm kind of annoyed at their fans for not owning the. Sometimes I think to grow, you need to own your defeats instead of passing the buck. And maybe behind the scenes they're owning it. Maybe behind the scenes there's no kind of feeling at all of like the referee or the other team got lucky or they cheated. But if that's what's being pumped into those players by the fans and the manager, they won't get to the level they should, because you have to sometimes realize you were just beaten by a slightly more experienced, slightly older team. Learn from those mistakes and move on. But I do think Arsenal have been very good so far this season. I haven't changed my mind on that.
I'm just gonna ignore the rest of that and just move on to United. Where do you guys go from here? Because if you guys drop points versus Crystal Palace,
wait, sorry, what do you mean by ignore the rest? Is what I'm saying not like the cheek? Is it not factual what I said? Did I say anything that was not like out of line?
That wasn't even a diss. I just feel like we're talking about the referees and everything. It almost takes away from the fact that Man United were good. They played well. They beat us. And I honestly, as much as you guys want to say we're deflecting and everything else, that was a small portion of the whole chat that I had after the game. So it's not about the whole thing. Wasn't about refs.
No, but we're talking. But it's been a talk. It's not about you, Egal. It's that the refereeing decisions has been trending.
No, I feel like everyone's making it seem like the same people who are saying, you know what, pointing out these little things. You can point out things that you felt like were egregious, but at the same time, give credit to the other team.
Yeah, I mean, I get that. We'll go on to your bit in a minute. I want to do some super chats first. I don't want to ignore them. McTominay, red card, WWE, also Arsenal top of the league still.
Loved it.
I actually loved what he did. Way dragged into the ground. And I gotta say, I saw a lot of people give Gabriel Jesus crap. I watched, that was one of the, without scoring, was one of the best centre forward displays I've seen in a while. The way
Terry, stop it, man.
What?
Stop it, man. I can't do it. Terry, you're one of the people who's like, oh, got to get them goals. All the good strikers, they get their goals. Mate, it was just, I'm sorry, I've seen Christian Pulisic do that 10 times, and no one gave him credit.
You haven't seen Pulisic do that.
Absolute joke. 5 XG for your striker.
David.
0.05 XG.
Listen, bro. If Pulisic got that physical for 10 minutes, he'd be injured for 6 months. Let's not get twisted here. Chelsea season starts tomorrow with Aubameyang leading the line, and I will come back to Chelsea in a bit, my friend. Big up the Spurs fan. I told y'all that this season is going to be like this. Spurs fans will have the last laugh. He was right about Mendy. Is what?
Listen,
Patrick, I might have to whip out a little apology still.
Exactly. When you're ready, David, I want my apology in writing. I want it all over Twitter.
Rodgers has won the FA Cup and finished twice above Arsenal in the last 3 years, but it isn't respected. So why should Arteta be respected? Big up is what Bryson B says.
You know
what? I didn't even beg that.
Yeah, that's decent.
Oh,
I'm copying that. I'm saving that in my draft.
Still.
Okay, show Mings on Saka, or if we can find me a replay and we'll do it. Odegaard pushed off Eriksen's back. Soft or not, a player cannot extend their arm and push off the back for another player. What I will say to you, Patrick, I hope if that happens to one of your players, I don't see you moan now. I'm going to hold you accountable.
The game is the game,
innit? Great sausage fest again, mates. We want Colleen. The level of referees in the Premier League is shocking, by the way. Erik ten Hag will be an all-time great with Klopp and Pep. I hope so. Let's not judge that just yet. Maria Williams says the issue with VAR is that the subjective decisions is how the person who is on VAR interprets the rules. That's why there's inconsistencies. Exactly.
It's not wrong.
Can I quickly just say something on the back of that? You do realize people are actually blaming the computer system for the breakdown in officiating. We do know it's humans behind the computers. So that's like me driving a car badly and then blaming the car for me crashing. This has always been an issue with personnel.
Yeah, but they do have the same processes that they should be following. So yeah, obviously, if you follow the same process, yeah, you may have slight differences. But when people complain about offside, for me, it's a nonsense because it's like, yes,
It's
okay,
clear
fine.
or not.
Maybe the frame is like, okay, they should have done one frame forward or one frame back. But as long as they're following the same process, it's going to average out about over the season. So I don't really.
It's not even about the averages thing. In the Euros, no one really complained about the refereeing, did they? Because you had competent people refereeing matches.
Well,
when you get
people complain with England, innit? But
yeah, but that was one game. Like, we're not sitting there talking about one game. Name me the last weekend we watched football and we didn't come out of it saying that game or this referee or that referee. It's a problem from the top. It needs to be just flushed out.
You know what? I think they need to have more people who actually have played the game to be running it. I don't know if the referees.
That doesn't necessarily mean they're going to come to a better decision.
I don't know if the referees are doing stuff that are just like, it doesn't make sense. Like, how did they overturn Newcastle's goal when it was an own goal off the guy's chest?
You're telling me
he actually pushed the attacker into the other goalkeeper.
You're telling me you want Gabby Ogbonlahor reffing games, man? Come on, let's not do that. Let's not do that, man. It's not happening.
It depends. You just need competent people, regardless of what they do.
Yeah, no, I hear that completely. I'm trying to find something. I was reading something about VAR earlier on today, and it spoke about how when they check and what they don't check. And the part of their page that explains it, they've changed the complete sentences today since this morning. And I'm trying to see if I had a screenshot, but I don't have. I'm trying to find the safe screenshot of it. But it was on their frequently asked questions page, and it spoke about how like all goals are checked. And referees get told to go and check things, even if the mistake they've made is minuscule. It read something along those lines, and I'm trying to find it again now. I feel like they've updated it. Oh, hang on. I found it again. It says here, if VAR sees an error, so it says here, let's go to this one here. It says that I need to read this out. It says VAR is only used to clear and obvious errors or serious missed incidents in 4 match-changing situations: goals, penalties, decisions, and red cards, and mistaken identity. It says if VAR sees an error has been made in such a situation, they will intervene regardless of how marginal the decision is. See, this is my point to people. No one reads the protocols. And when you read that sentence, no matter how marginal the errors are, they'll be told to look at it. And then we're not to judge what clear and obvious is. Because, like I've said, if you think Odegaard won the ball, and he didn't touch the ball, then in your mind you might go, "Oh God, I got it wrong. That's a clear and obvious error because I thought I saw something that I didn't." And to be fair to the referees, we watch it from 3 or 4 angles in slow mo. They see it one time, quick, and also, yes, they're watching where the play is, but they're kind of looking at multiple things at once, right? So I'm not going to totally ever go. And I think sometimes if people just read the protocols and the rules, remember the first year of VAR. I must have said this 100 times. People said, "Oh, how are they giving that as offside? It ain't clear and obvious." It doesn't. Clear and obvious is only for subjective decisions. That took 2 years for football fans to learn, and footballers. So yeah, start having them on the panel. Question for Callum: KDB or Gerrard?
Gerrard, but Kevin De Bruyne is phenomenal.
Yeah. Terry, also the late Saka tackle on Malacia where he flew through Malacia's legs. Some refs would have sent him off.
No, that would never have sent him.
No, I don't think that's a
red.
But I would have booked him for the dive earlier on in the game. I didn't hear you mention the dive.
The dive was bad.
Saka was a big diver.
He called for a penalty, but he called for a penalty.
On the ball.
But he called for a penalty.
He's a big diver, man.
Egal, did he not call for the penalty? Did he not call for the penalty? Don't do it. He did not dive. Did he not call for the penalty?
I love you, Gal.
He
Just
did not
answer
dive.
the question.
You know what should have happened though? Harry Maguire came in and did a DDT. He should have got a penalty.
Deflection, man.
I'm not. I never brought it up until now.
I thought it was a penalty.
You guys want to keep bringing up
oh my God.
Guys, I'm going to move on with these super chats. We've got some more subjects to cover. AFTV give all Arsenal fans a bad name. Of course they don't do that. They don't do that at all. Look at the Man United fans that surrounded Tyre yesterday. Like, ridiculous. Yeah. All fan bases have dickheads. Simple as that. Now these North American soccer pundits are taking it to a new level. Real match-going Gunners must be cursing these frauds for damning their club's image.
Americans
I disagree profusely. We'll move on from that. Nothing cleanses my soul more than salty Arsenal fans. They are the definition of history FC. They just love to talk without any substance. See Egal's face with the saltiness is pure joy, is what legendary villain has got to say. And how do Arsenal have such mouth without any trophies like City and Liverpool? Trust the process, hold that L. They're talking about the trust, the backing of the manager. That's what he means. I know that's what he's referring to. He doesn't mean you've got no trophies in your history.
Arteta has more trophies than your club has in the last 5 years. So what are you trying about?
What club?
Manchester United.
Yeah, you've gone 5 years. We go 6 years. We've got the same. if we go 7 years, we've got 3 more than you. You're just stopping it at that.
I'm talking about the fact that you guys haven't won a trophy in what, 5 years now, and Arteta has an FA Cup.
If you go in the past 3 years, you ain't won anything. So whatever.
What do you mean? We won a trophy in his first season. That was 3 years ago.
Well, 2 years then. Cool, whatever.
Yeah, we can all move. We can all move the goalposts. Like Liverpool haven't won nothing for a year, like for 9 months and 6 months now. Like, do you know what I mean? It's one of them. But there we go. I mean, if we do it about Tottenham haven't won anything for a long time.
I was just keeping quiet.
I had to bring it. I had to do it. There was another big contentious decision this weekend, though, like an absolutely massive one, which got. I got a lot of crap. I even had some of the ladies from West Ham's women's team come for me on Twitter because I thought it was a foul. But of course, we saw the foul that was given. Jared Bowen kicking, leaving his foot in, and of course hurting Mendy. The goal was disallowed. What are you saying, Egal? What did you make of this decision, brother?
You know what? You might be surprised, but I actually think Jared Bowen did foul Mendy. Like I seen another footage, I seen another image. I don't know if you've seen it, Terry, but the prior, he didn't only get him with the trailing foot. Apparently, he almost scraped him with the first lead foot. So it definitely was a foul, and it was right to be overturned. But hey, if they wanna say it wasn't, and they want to look at it deeper, they can do that. But in my opinion, it was a foul.
In slow motion, it's a foul. In real time, it's not. You got to understand, like they're both like what's. Bowen, basically, you're saying in that situation, every attacker needs to stop if a goalie's coming out. Basically, that's what you said. That's what it means. In that situation, every time an attacker's going in, going for the ball, he needs to just concede to the goalkeeper. You got to hurdle him. Because, and in my opinion, I just think when I watch that back, I think I can record things. I love it up here with streaming. I watched it back because I was like, okay, I'm very curious on how. What else could have Bowen done? All he could have done is basically let the ball go to Mendy and jump over. That's it. So instead, he went for the ball.
But bruv, yes. Like if I go in for a slide tackle and I don't get the ball and then I clatter the guy, it's a foul, right?
But didn't he get the ball?
No. Mendy got the ball.
Mendy got the ball.
Bowen didn't touch it. If it's the other way around and Mendy misses it with his hands and then Bowen's leg catches him in that way, a penalty. I'm telling you what Bowen did. It's one of two things. He either left his leg out to stick one on him because he was annoyed, or he was hoping Mendy misses the ball and he catches him and he gets a penalty. That's what he did. That's why he left his leg there. He left his leg there on purpose. And you're not allowed to do that. I know that the PGMLO have bottled it and said, no, actually, we think we got it wrong. But for me, based on that logic, if everyone who plays West Ham now, run in on Fabianski and just leave your feet in and see if they start moaning. I bet they do. It's a ridiculous decision.
But what's it? Again, as a someone who benefited from the decision, I can see why the referee overturned it. This is the thing. It's all up to interpretation. I personally think because they gave the goal that it should have stood, because I just don't think there's enough to overturn it. However, again, my theory of referees just waiting for VAR to make the decision for them, I think that's, again, what happened. I think he's seen it and gone, it's a bit of a 50-50. How about we just let play go on and we see what happens? And then VAR's gone, you might want to look at that. And especially when they've gone to the screen and you looked at it. On Sky Sports, they literally showed the angle that the referee looked at it from. And if I saw the angle, I'd sit there and be like, that's a foul. Like, it does look quite incriminating, even though in real time, I didn't agree with the decision. So again, we're doing up 50-50s, but yeah, that's.
Have you guys seen the angle of the lead foot of Bowen hitting the side?
That's the angle that the ref saw, where he literally.
I just sent the picture to Terry. That one, when I seen that, I'm like, you know what? They have no case, because from that it looks like he literally scrapes the side of his thing, and it looks like the second leg that everyone's talking about that actually hit him was not the one that hurt him. It was the lead one where he had his studs up.
Yeah, I mean, look, it's one of them ones. I mean, I've seen in the comment people saying it's a contact sport, but what does that like? Cal, what does that mean? It's a contact sport.
Yeah, I've never understood this whole. It's like because it's a contact sport, we can just start throwing people around or stamping people. There's a difference between a contact sport and a foul or an assault. Like, we need to just get this out of our minds. To be honest, with the actual tackle or challenge, I see it from both sides. If I'm going to be completely transparent with you, I actually can't make up my mind on it. Genuinely can't. Because I can see arguments from both sides. I can't sit here and be like, fully agree with Chelsea, fully agree with West Ham. I see it from both sides. I've got to be honest. I know this.
Oh, wow. Oh, that one looks bad. I haven't seen that.
Still.
Yeah.
That one's a little different.
But then again, we can all freeze things and make them look worse.
I was going to say,
you know,
like the Van Dijk tackle at the weekend on a frozen still, it looks bad. But when you actually watch it back, it's not the worst tackle in the world.
Yeah,
that looks terrible.
Yeah,
frozen. But when you actually see the tackle, it's a yellow card.
But we have to remember, like, it's always about the team, and I think people. I think there's an agenda from a lot of like West Ham fans are always going to say it was wrong. But then right now, like all rivals of Chelsea want Chelsea to lose. Like last year, there was a goal disallowed for Man United for an accidental catch to the face by Scott McTominay. And when you actually watch it back, Scott didn't throw his arm out only for the fact that Son was pulling his arm and he just like flicked him off of him to say, get off my arm. And he caught his face a little bit. And it was Son's fault because Son committed the first. This is what was weird about it. Son committed the first foul by pulling the arm. All McTominay done is kind of flick him off of him. And he caught his face like this. And then Son held his face and he went down. Because Man United won the game 3-1, there was no outrage about it. And this is my point. If this was the other way around and West Ham and Chelsea scored a winner or an equalizer and it was disallowed the same way, I almost guarantee this doesn't get anywhere near the same media attention. I think there's a real big agenda for like Chelsea and Tuchel to foul. You've got Arsenal fans that want it, Spurs fans that want it. Of course, City and no one wants it. They know how good the manager is. And I just feel like, yeah, it was 50-50 in some people's eyes. But when you look at all the different camera angles, the different still shots, both feet caught the goalie and he didn't win the ball. And people saying it's a contact sport. Well, what if the trailing foot hits his face? Is it then okay? Like, you have to have rules in place, in my opinion, to stop the bad accidents. When Mane put those 4 or 5 stitches in Ederson's face, he didn't mean to, but it has to be a red card, because if you say, well, he didn't mean to do it, therefore you can, then players are all going to start doing it. And do you know how many people are going to get studs in the face eventually? Like, you have also, it's a bit like the lunging tackles. When was the last time someone's leg got snapped with a lunging tackle? And that's because now if you lunge into a tackle and don't even make contact, you get a red card. So players have stopped. And I'm really disappointed with the authorities on this one, changing their mind and saying, oh, we think we got it wrong. As soon as I saw the replay, it wasn't even like an agenda. I saw it and went, that's got to be disallowed. Because you saw the impact on the body. I didn't even think anything of. I didn't even think it would be a contentious decision when I saw it.
Also, really like, there is like, whether people want to admit it or not, the rules for goalkeepers are different. If you affect a goal, if you affect a goalkeeper, that's like an instant. That's a mistake that we've made. We've got to go back. I said it about Pickford when he did it with Van Dijk, and everyone said I was crazy because, oh my god, he's injured him and blah blah. It's that goalkeepers will fly into people with their knees up, unbothered, and because they're a goalkeeper, they get away with it because those are the rules, whether they're written in or not. It's an unwritten rule. If a goalkeeper catches you in midair, well, they're allowed to do that because they're jumping for the ball. They've got to use their hands and so on. So goalkeepers have different rules to outfield players, and we have to accept that. So yeah.
You know what? But sometimes it doesn't make sense. Sometimes it doesn't make sense. But no, what about Ramsdale's goal? The other day we had the guy. Anyways, forget about the Arsenal thing. Everyone thinks there's an agenda against them. Look at the top 6 teams. They're saying there's an agenda against the top 6. No, the rest of the league thinks there's an agenda where the Premier League wants the top 6 teams to win every game, and just go our way.
Well, I want to show you guys something else again, all right, from the same game. So this was a still someone put out. Mendy punches. This is for the first goal that West Ham scored. Mendy punches the ball. It's going to land on his feet. People ain't seen this. The West Ham player's got hold of his shirt. West Ham player falling into the net, pulls his shirt. That's what pulls Mendy to the ground. That's what pulls Mendy over. So the man gets dragged to the ground by his shirt. It was probably an instinct of the West Ham player to do it. And that's why you can see his shirt being pulled, or am I capping? Like, I think you can all see that, right? Depends how big your monitors are.
No, he gets pulled.
he gets pulled to the ground, and I can't play anymore because obviously we can't play the footage. But like, this is the thing about the game. You had Antonio already on a booking, headlocking someone. You also, by the way, had Reece James kick out at the player, and he could have got in trouble for doing it. This is what annoys me when people try and say there's a top 6 bias or like, oh, everything went against us today. I kind of watched it and thought, well, where's the outcry for Mendy being dragged to the ground? But if he stays on his feet, he literally catches the crossfield pass from Declan Rice, no goal. Like, for me, I'm just sick and tired of the way the media mainly focuses on one decision but doesn't look at any of the others. It really annoys me.
Honestly, I don't get too upset especially when it's derbies, when the refs let a lot of things go, because I look at it, and again, North American sports, like in our sports, we go so long and then we have playoffs. Everything's refs differently when you get to the playoffs because things matter more. It's just the way it is. We know it. Where there is no playoffs in the Prem, it's just like the big games, the games that matter more are the derbies, the things where it gets chippy, where you see the headlocks, the people getting like this. Like, I think, who said it earlier? Maybe Egal, like, or David, Paul Tierney, at one point, like, you can't call everything in that Arsenal United game because you saw it getting chippy, like the kick out at Martinez. Like, Martinez clearly did something before that. Scott taking down Jesus. Like, you start to get to a point where if you call every single thing, there will be problems. Like, you'll just have guys coming off the pitch. You'll have reds. You'll have multiple yellows. So I think, like, when you see something like the headlock from Antonio and stuff, you don't call it, right? Because you're
right. No, I agree with you there. I kind of, it's a bit like the Sambi tackle on Bruno yesterday, and even the kick out from Jesus. I don't actually want the red cards. In reality, what I'm saying is when I hear someone go, "We got nothing go our way," I just think, "Oh, fuck off." Neeks here's got a question. He says, "Question, Terry. If a defender slides in, wins the ball, and the attacker's trailing leg hits the leg of the defender, is it a foul on the defender? No, you play on." The difference is this: if that contact from the attacker is enough to stop, say it's enough. If he hits my leg and doesn't hurt me, and I get up and I've got possession of the ball, of course you play on. But if it's enough contact to hit me and it stops me from getting up, and then the ball I've just won in the tackle falls to the opponent and they score instantly from it, of course it's a foul. Because you've impeded me. Like, I'm not saying Mendy would have got up from that and saved it, but who knows? Maybe the goalie running across puts more pressure on the attacker and he skies the shot. Like, there's so many variables, which is why I think it's a foul. But it's a good question. We've got some super chats here. I don't want to miss these. Chelsea season starts tomorrow with Aubameyang leading the line, and Chelsea in January will spend another 150 million. So we will be there, and Man United have a good squad with a good coach. Thank you very much for that super chat. I just wish Tierney would have called the foul initially. Go to and score a big goal to get a huge game. Yeah, I mean, it would have been a very, very good goal. I heard someone actually, an Arsenal fan, tweet, so like, would have been a Bergkamp on level goal. And it's so like we got one in the second half. Bruno's pass to Rashford was very similar. Even we got one on the day. Jesus did put Martinez and Varane in a spin cycle. He was very good yesterday. He just didn't score, but he was very good overall. Same old at Old Trafford. United dominated yet close game. Egal is what David says there. Eric Ten Hag outsmarted Arteta with that Ronaldo sub because it forced everybody to him, but this allowed the high line behind with Rashford. Terry, please remind them that Rashford has more GA than any player on their team. He does. Man's sitting there on 6 or 7. My guy is getting back to his best. I'm loving it. I'm loving it. Just keep focusing on football. Forget the charity work for now. Do that when you retire. Mendy playing like he's on 50K. I don't know what that means. I don't get that. Maybe I'm dumb. All the best to all the Arsenal fans traveling to Azerbaijan and all these remote areas starting Thursday. We're doing the same. We as a fan base must unite for the fair calls for both sides, not just our own. All of our teams are subject to the same poor regulations. Yeah, I agree with you, but it ain't ever happening. Nothing's changing. Yeah, 100%. No matter how blatantly clear your crime is, you just need to hire Egal as your lawyer and change your name to Arsenal. No jail time for you, mate.
That's actually good. That's good.
Egal Sunday, you even said Saka called for a pen.
What?
Yeah. When he went to the ground.
Yeah, when he cheated.
When he dived.
I don't know. Show me footage.
What happens if Kane did the same thing? If Kane did what Saka did, there'd be carnage out
Yeah,
there.
Kane is the biggest cheater in the Premier League. It's fine.
Done it again, Harry Kane. He's done it again.
Yeah, he's done it again. I've done it again. Speaking of strikers, though, I need to ask the viewers about this because I think Patrick, like a lot of Spurs fans, are intimidated by Haaland. So Patrick put a little tweet out at the weekend and says, You see Ivan Toney's hat-trick yesterday. That's the definition of a real striker's hattie. All sorts of goals showing his range of finishing and precision. Erling Haaland is scoring sweaty 6-yard tap-ins and you lot are acting like he's a second coming of R9. Yawn. Do you not rate Haaland?
Don't forget hashtag boring at the end.
Hashtag boring. I'll do it in a better voice. I'll do the last bit in a better voice.
Erling Haaland is scoring sweaty 6-yard tap-ins, and you lot are acting like he's the second coming of R9. Yawn.
Boring.
Oh man, you know what?
What are you saying about Haaland, bro?
Nah, Haaland's a phenomenal player, and of course he's a world-class striker. But what I was trying to say is that the quality of the goals, that's the hat tricks that he scored, they are quite sweaty. They're quite standard 6-yard tap-ins. What is it? City moving the ball around. That's kind of normal. A striker, any half decent striker is going to score those goals. But Ivan Toney's hat trick, that was a quality hat trick. He was scoring different types of finishes. I'm just saying, appreciate Toney for the hat trick that he scored.
Yeah, but you can appreciate Toney without shitting on Haaland. I'm sorry.
Nah.
Haaland,
Right,
I'm
not shitting on him. I'm just saying that
we argued this last week, and I'm going to say it again.
Yeah,
Erling Haaland's the best striker in the Premier League. Right now, he's looking at Harry Kane. How's the weather down there with your 5 goals? That's what he's doing right now because he's just he's better than him. He's got 10 goals already. He's averaging 1.5 XP a game. It's mad. We're acting like R9 didn't score tap-ins. We're acting like R9 didn't have easy finishes.
No,
as well.
David.
Yeah, this is why. You know what? The tweet was actually a bit of banter, but when I see people like you getting I love it.
That's my guy.
Come
That's
on,
my guy.
For you to say that.
Haaland, I rate Haaland as well as much as the next person. But he's been in the Prem for what, a month? Can't sit here and say he's the best striker in the Premier.
He's the best striker in the
wild.
Kane's a better footballer. I think Haaland's a better goal scorer.
Yeah, but you got to respect Harry Kane. He's third all
I
time
do.
in Premier League. No, I'm not saying you, Cam. I'm talking about David. He's third all time in the goal. You're telling me that Haaland's better. He's been in a month.
Yeah, I don't think you are. First of all, again,
doesn't matter how long he's been.
I am a barista.
It does, Egal. This is what it's right. Is Saliba better than Van Dijk?
No, but you had
wait. No, let me finish. But he's had a better start to the season than Van Dijk, right?
No, but it's different. If you, for example,
Why
when Thiago Alcantara came to Liverpool, immediately he was put in one of the top 5 midfielders in the league. When Thiago Alcantara came to Liverpool and he started playing, people were saying immediately he's one of the best midfielders in this league. And they didn't care. They didn't care that he wasn't there for longer. He hasn't played much.
If someone makes a mistake, does that mean you should also make the same mistake?
Hold on, but did anyone say Thiago is better than De Bruyne, for example?
No, nobody said that.
Right, that's what we're doing here with Kane and Haaland, though.
No, but the difference with Haaland, he actually has a case because he has a body of work and he's delivering. He's delivering.
He's outscored Harry Kane in the past 2 seasons with less games.
Hold on. We're not going to do that, are we?
Considering one.
Oh, so is Timo Werner better than most of the strikers? Is he outscored?
No. Because
come on, David. Come on, man.
Because Dortmund.
What's the context? What's the context?
If you knew what was going on at Borussia Dortmund in the past 2 years, it's not like he's had it easy.
And what Harry Kane has? Has Harry Kane had it easy at Tottenham?
Borussia Dortmund have had freaking Ozan Terzic as their manager. He was an interim 2 years ago, and now he's the current manager.
Last season, what are you talking about?
Bro, Nuno has compared to Nuno, Ozan Terzic he's nothing. He's nothing.
The way you're disregarding Kane, you got okay. All right, David. Let me put it this way. All right, Arsenal after 6 games are top of the league. Does everyone believe that Arsenal will finish top of the league right now? After 6 games, he's had a good start. I get it. He's had a great start, but we're only 6 games in.
So can I just take this back a little bit? Look, Tony's hat trick was class, right? His hat trick was class. By the way, Tony wouldn't have scored that hat trick this weekend at City. He wouldn't have done it.
Yeah, of
Well,
course not.
no, the main reason is because he wouldn't be on the penalties or free kicks at City,
Yeah,
right? So,
yeah, there you
firstly,
go.
like, there's that. But
No, he would be on penalties. He's one of the best penalty takers in this league.
He would not be on penalties.
Nah, Mahrez, De Bruyne.
I think KDB would take it still,
exactly.
personally. But yeah,
Yeah.
like, maybe he'd take the penalty, but he definitely wouldn't be on free kick. KDB would.
Yeah, he wouldn't be on free kick.
Cool.
Definitely.
So yeah, it is what it is, and I'm not. I think Tony's great. I think some look. Man United need a new number 9. They spoke about 50 million for him. I think with the current Gibbs White's worth 44 million. He's worth
75 plus.
Like, yeah, he'll be more if he keeps scoring like this. It'll be more. But I suppose it's one of these things. Look, what are you actually saying about Haaland, though? Are you saying he's overrated? Are you saying that it's
no?
Like, is he just a tapping merchant?
I think
Tony's better than him. Like, what are you actually saying?
No. I was just being cheeky. I was just saying that the quality of Ivan Toney's hat tricks is what people should be banging on about, as opposed to Haaland's hat tricks, which, if we're being honest, they're 6-yard tap-ins. Do you know what I mean? So it's just put it into context. Of course, Haaland is a fantastic player. He's a world-class striker. He's one of the best strikers around. That's not my point. My point is just like people are overdoing it. And even when you get David saying, "Oh yeah, Haaland's the best striker in the Prem," we're 6 games in, man. Yeah, he scored 10 goals, but he might go 2 or 3 games without a goal. And Harry Kane is more than capable to score in bunches. The same with Mo Salah. Are we all of a sudden going to say that Salah's not one of the best strikers in the Prem because he's not scored in a couple of games? We've got to be a bit like people go too early.
Can I say one thing?
Yeah,
Patrick, I've got to disagree. You know the whole 6-yard tapping thing? I hear it from fans all the time. If it's so easy for 6-yard tappings and all that, why don't more strikers do it and get it?
Yeah, but in the City structure,
why
I believe any half-competent striker would be.
I was just going to say what David said. Gabriel Jesus, other players, other strikers. It's
different players, though.
We need to understand it is an art to know where to be and know when to time your runs. It's not a coincidence Haaland is scoring these type of goals. He is switched on and he has that intuition of where to be and when to be there. Like we have to stop downplaying when goals look easy. Goals that look easy are probably the hardest ones to get.
And the thing is, he doesn't skip on those either.
Yeah, the positioning of him. If it was that easy, you wouldn't.
Every striker would do it.
You wouldn't spend 50 million on the fee, 25 million for your dad, 25 million to the agency, 300 odd grand a week. You'd just go to the championship, buy a quick pace striker, and go right. You just hang around the 6-yard box. You're going to score tap-ins. Look, Haaland isn't going to score goals like Harry Kane. Harry Kane is a better footballer than Haaland, overall footballer. But I do believe this. I think we are looking at the best finisher in world football since R9. Just finisher, not overall football. Like, at his age, and the reason I'm saying, look, how he develops is we'll see.
I don't know if I agree with that, Terry. Since R9,
So the reason I'm saying that is based on facts. Other than R9, since I went back as far as the early 90s, because stats are there, no one in Europe, barring R9, has as many goals per game at 22 years of age as Haaland does. He's outscored everybody by this point, other than Mbappe's at a point. But Mbappe's been scoring most of his goals where he is. Mbappe's thereabouts as well. Like Mbappe, but I'm talking number 9s here, right?
Yeah. Lewandowski and Suarez, I think.
But Cristiano Ronaldo, I've looked at all of them, unless I've missed Lewandowski, but all of them at 22 years of age weren't scoring like this. Plus, you've got to add those Champions League goals he's got in there as well, like the records there. Ronaldo and Messi, he will never be as good of footballers as them. And what people do, when people say this, CR7 at 22 wasn't scoring at the same rate and in the same way that he is. So don't.
I think you've got to change the statement.
No. I think the statement's perfect. The best finisher at that age, like I've just said.
I didn't hear when you said at that age. My bad.
Yeah, so this is what I'm saying.
I have no argument.
So for his age at 22, is that so? My point is, he's the best young finisher we've seen. Because at this point, barring R9, no one was scoring like him. Now, if he goes on scoring at this rate for the next 10 years, by the way, he doesn't need physicality as he gets older if he keeps scoring like this, because he just needs to know where to stand. He's going to tap it in. This guy could break all sorts of records. Now, where people get angry about that opinion, I lost 300 followers on Twitter for tweeting that thing, that he's the best young striker at the age of 22 I've seen since R9. And it was basically Ronaldo and Messi stands going mental at me. I'm like, you didn't read the tweet. He's never going to be he'll never be able to even talk to Messi as a footballer. He'll never be able to talk to Ronaldo as a footballer. He'll never do what they do. But in terms of finishing, I don't remember at 22 years of age seeing a person as predatory as him, you know. And I think at City, he's going to go on and score all kinds. What's this you say? Also, Haaland can't score any other type of goal because everyone plays low block against them. He doesn't get the chance to score mad goals like that. There's an element of truth in that as well. Of course there is. But goal scoring wise, to have 10 goals in the opening 6 Premier League games is mad. He scored 2 hat-tricks in 5 Premier League games, his first 5, and he's still only 22. He's ridiculously good. And he's only ever going to... The goal of the weekend, by the way, was a hard goal still. He volleyed it on his weaker foot from a acute angle. Like, I guarantee
that was great timing.
Most strikers will miss that.
So I think
doesn't-
in
the thing is-
the comments, Michael Owen's a shout as well. You know, I'm not even a fan of the guy. Michael Owen was potent as F.
He has more goals than everybody in the league, bar 6 teams. But I wanted to, if you don't mind, Terry, I wanted to get onto Ivan Toney. My guy, Patrick, how are you doing Ivan Toney prop when you're the same guy laughing at me when I was suggesting him to Liverpool in that?
Okay, what did you say? The whole of your let's not change it now and rewrite history. You said you would have Ivan Toney over Gabriel Jesus. And
No.
You did.
I did say that. But the whole topic was around him being linked to Liverpool, and you weren't there, Callum, but they were all laughing at the possibility of me saying he should go to Liverpool and he'd fit perfectly as a potential Roberto Firmino replacement. And what Patrick specifically said to me was, Terry, if you have the clip, you have the clip. But what Patrick said specifically to me was, he can't do what Roberto Firmino does, or
he doesn't have that link up play in his locker. Yeah, I remember.
And I believe he does. And it's not only just the link up play and the ability to on the ball and everything else. But I think if you had him next to Mo Salah, you would still be getting the best out of Mo Salah.
Let's take a look at what you said.
Seen their link to Ivan Toney. What happened?
One sec.
Lost sound.
A lot of people probably don't rate him to the level I rate him to. But Liverpool, I seen their link to Ivan Toney. I think he'd be the perfect Roberto Firmino replacement.
No way.
You guys are laughing.
No.
You guys are laughing.
I like Toney. I like him.
You guys are laughing, but when it comes to technical ability, passing, when it comes to actual link up, everything.
Toney does not have that Firmino pass in his locker. He doesn't, or that link up.
You're getting upset, Hussam. Wallahi, I genuinely would take him at Arsenal over Gabriel Jesus.
Hang on.
You're Arsenal. We're Liverpool, bro. We ain't the same. Don't apply your standards to me. I'm trying to win Prem. I'm trying to win Champions. You're trying to qualify. I'm not. I want to win the thing you're trying to qualify.
You want a Roberto Firmino replacement? This is somebody who's already playing in the Premier League and is a good
Firmino don't even start. He ain't replacing Firmino. He's replacing Mane, bro.
Okay, then you can't replace Mane.
But
you can't replace Mane. That's the reality.
Oh, that part was great.
You know what's interesting there? Like, would you ask you this question now, a few months later? Because I can't remember how long ago that was now. But would you swap Toney now for Gabriel Jesus?
I want both, but I don't
that
want.
That wasn't my question. Answer questions now. Answer the question. Would you, on a real level now? I walk up to you, like you could only have one or the other. Who would you take?
You know what? The moment I seen him score that goal against for Manchester City versus Real Madrid, I swallowed my pride and I said he's better than Ivan Toney. But I think if we had Ivan Toney and Jesus,
hang on, sorry to interject. This video was recorded before that, after that goal.
That was 2 months. That was 2 months ago.
Yeah, but mate, this video was from the summer in the transfer window.
No, but at that point, I wanted both of them. But I was willing to say.
You just mentioned you only said you wanted Gabriel Jesus after he scored against Madrid. The season that happened before this video, brother.
No, I'm saying I changed my opinion on Gabriel Jesus.
If you'd have said Ivan Toney still, I'd have said your wife needs to look out because there's no loyalty there, bro. Like, no loyalty there at all. But there we go. Let's go to some super chats here. I think Messi scored more goals than Haaland at 22. He had around 139. Maybe he did by then. Maybe. I just looked at Lewandowski. Lewandowski had like 100, had like 70.
He was at Poznan though, wasn't he?
But he weren't like. There's no Champions League goals in there. Nothing. I'll have to take a look at it again. I did a show about this, by the way, like nearly a year ago. So in that space,
a lot of time injured. People forget.
That's true. Haaland has alone scored more than 14 Premier League teams this season, and he hasn't even been the best number 9 this season. He has won City 7 points. Patrick, how can you say Romero is a top 5 centre back? Random at the end of that, but that's a question for you, Patrick.
Where did that come from? Matip, I'm not sure about. Matip was good last season. He's Van Dijk, 100%. Even though he's not been great, he's still the best centre back in the league for me.
No, he's
Diaz
not.
is good. He is. Come on, man.
Thiago Silva
only
is
6
centre-back
games.
one, man.
Thiago Silva is great. So Laporte, yeah, I think Romero is top 5. I'm not gonna lie. It's up to you who you put in there, but I would take out Matip personally from that list.
Matip.
Yeah. If I had to remove one, I'd remove Matip right now.
Matip was better than Virgil last season.
Oh man, I don't know. That's my pick. I don't know.
That's who you've gone with. I'm just looking at Messi's numbers quickly because you got to go back to the summer of 2009. That's 13 years ago. That's when he was 22 years and under. 17, 16, 38 plus 8. I'll even give him his Barcelona B goals as well, just C goals. He had 8. Messi at 22 years of age, so in the summer of June 2009 going into that season. By the way, he scored 47 goals in 09-10. He had 85 goals. What's Haaland on?
100, you said 120
something. He had 85 goals and about 16 to 17 what do you call them? Champions League goals. I'm assuming there weren't no Europa League goals in or UEFA Cup goals.
Messi's not a striker, so it doesn't.
Yeah, but I'm just saying. I mean, but look, Messi and Ronaldo are a great acid test because we know how much they went on to score. That's the point. Like the number of goals is crazy. Like you look at Haaland right now. Haaland at the same age has got 165 goals.
Yeah, he's gonna
like
be
that's what I'm saying. And then a lot of people will turn around and, by the way, he's got I think like 27 in 25 Champions League games.
But Harrison Kane was banging about at Norwich when we're talking about
that's my point. Like you got Lewandowski at this age had no goals in any of the top 5 leagues, no Champions League goals. This guy's got double it. That's what I'm not even saying he'll ever be as good a footballer, but the number of goals he's got, when you actually just look at the numbers, it's like God. And I know that people will say, yeah, but like 20 of those goals are in Norway and 29 of those goals were in Austria. But the reason I count them is because he's maintained his scoring levels, the harder levels he's gone up. So you keep them. If a striker scored 200 goals in a bang average league and then moved to a hard league and never scored, I don't care about them 200. Them 200 goals mean nothing to me. That like when you're talking about top converters for me, it's crazy what he's done. 165 goals in 207 games at 22. It's mad. It's mad. Another super chat here, David. With all due respect, stating Haaland is looking, down on Kane is a joke. He only has been in the Prem for 5 minutes, so let's see after 1 season.
Yeah, that was our point as well, man. It's too early.
David's a Haaland propaganda.
Yeah. Anything connected to Germany. David loves a bit of Germany. A world-class striker should score in important games and finals. The only world-class strikers in the Premier League is Drogba, Henry, Ronaldo, Salah. Why ain't Rooney's name on there?
Yeah, I was going to say.
Rooney scored in Champions League finals. He didn't score in an FA Cup finals, but I don't think
it's weird to say that. What about RVP then?
RVP?
Yeah, RVP. There's loads. If we were gonna go down that route, then this list is really weird.
Yeah. David, with all due respect, stating Haaland. Okay, I already had that one. Haaland is alone. Has a lone score. Sorry, I already done that one. Sorry.
You done that.
Ruud van Nistelrooy and Inzaghi are great examples. Yeah, they were class, weren't they? Class boys. Haaland reminds me more of RVP than R9. I get you. I'm not. When the problem is when you say the greatest finisher at age since R9, people just think their natural instinct to go, you don't play like him. I'm not saying he does. I'm just talking about someone who finishes. Relax, David. Looking down on Kane is jokes. R9 used to pick the ball up in the middle of the park and dribble. Yeah, I never said he was a good player. Like, honestly, stop the cognitive dissonance and listen to the words that are coming out of my mouth. I love that film. Do you understand the words that are coming out of my mouth? They never make that film now. It would never be allowed to pass.
No. You couldn't. No, you couldn't.
That argument makes
no
sense.
Hour, it's finished.
Yeah, that argument makes no sense in regards to time in the league. If R9 enjoyed the Prem in his prime, he would have been considered the best before playing the game. Good point. The difference between Haaland and most strikers in the world is the instinct to know where to be to get his chance. His nose for goals is elite level. Haaland and Kane are like Yakubu, stat pad without trophies. or match-winning goals. None of them. But you know what they're doing with Haaland already, though? I have seen this. This is why I think I thought more Spurs fans would back him in a sense of they're going to keep moving the goalposts with Haaland, just like they did Kane, just like they did with Ronaldo, until like when he scores in the semi, when he scores in the final, when he wins the Prem, then what are you going to say about Haaland? Not Kane. Kane ain't winning shit at Spurs. I'm just saying, like, it's done there. Have you guys already done your season predictions? Do you know what I'm going to do? We're going to say that to next week. We're going to do like final end season predictions after the window shut and stuff like that. We'll get that done. But there we go. Do we have any more super chat? We've got more that have come through here. Jeez. We need to talk about KDB. He's probably City's best player along with Aguero, and he has been better than Gerrard and might be top 5 PL. Listen, I said that last. I think I put him in my top 5 Premier League midfielders of all time last year. I think he overtook Kante. He goes in.
There's an argument there, really.
Yeah, it's easy. It's easy. Like KDB goes in there along with Keane, Scholes, and Carrick, and then there's one place probably for Lampard.
But again, Carl's just shocked. I was stunned.
Is there already a take you guys have already taken back? Is there a take you guys have taken? Yeah. I'm taking back Liverpool winning the league. That's done. I ain't backing them anymore to win the league. Sod that. No way are they winning the league.
Taking back us outside of the top 4.
Oh no, I'm still saying Man United coming 7th. I'm keeping them expectations low, bro. Them expectations are staying low. And they're not coming up. They're not coming up at all. Boys, I appreciate you all coming on tonight. Viewers, absolutely wonderful audience as ever. Make sure you're smashing like buttons. We're back on Thursday. I don't know what time it might actually move to Friday because it will be Friday this week because the Europa League's on. Arsenal kick off at 5:45. So we will not be. There'll be Friday that the top 6 is on this week as we look ahead the Premier League weekend when Man United are going to break back into the top 4 against all odds. It's going to be amazing. City, Spurs previews on that as well. But before you leave, hit like button, subscribe. We're back tomorrow. Some content in the morning. We've got straight facts, and then we've got a new Champions League night. Every Champions League night will be at the home of the Football Terrace in the studio moving forward. That's every single Champions League night between now and the final will be in the studio. Lots of great stuff coming there. So make sure you're all tuning into that. We're partnering with somebody brilliant, a brand you've all heard of. Some brilliant games coming and some offers for you as well. So keep your eyes out. Very excited about that. Always good to get you back on the show, Callum, and commiseration for the start of the season. Patrick, always
lying. That's a lie.
Lady and Cam, always great to have a United fan on here when you're happy. Egal, I'm not unlucky for you for yesterday. I'm glad you personally lost yesterday. I'm happy about that, mate. That's because you're my friend, and I can say that to you. And David, how do you feel about your new leader of the Tory party becoming Prime Minister?
I'm not going to speak on politics on this show.
David is a Tory. And listen, take care, everyone. Goodbye. God bless. And we'll see you all again very, very soon. Thank you.